Jews denied there was such thing as black Jews at that time, and only since the Operation Moses last year did a handful of them admit there is such thing as black Jews. Not one of my teachers taught me anything about Africa, even the best of them.
Did your father teach you much about Africa and tell you much about?
Quite so. In discussion, my father would always, because of his own knowledge and because of being in the UNA, the Garvey movement, anytime I would speak about certain things, as a matter of fact, when Daddy spoke to me about the Torah or the Old Testament, he constantly pointed out to me that which is of Africa in it. For instance, Daddy would say, well, Moses, he was an African, he was born in Egypt. Long before, when people look at the map, and although they saw Egypt there, didn't recognize Egypt as being in Africa, my father had made that very clear to me. And my father gave me my first books on that, the Book of the Dead, and such books were knowledgeable to me at an early age because of my father.
How did you come to the States and when?
I came to the States in the Second World War.
Why?
Well, the boat was coming to the States.
Okay.
And I had a man who was supposed to be uncle. I said supposed because there's arguments. So this, see, my family life is kind of argumental as to who I am really in those contexts. And he and another man brought the numbers to America, Casper Hussein, he and Pompey. So I came to and spoke with him.
Where was this? What city?
Here in New York.
All right.
And
Harlem?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I made my ground here for a while.
What year was that you came to New York?
I came in 1944, I think, 43, 44.
Mm-hmm.
And
right in the middle of things.
Right in the middle of the war. Yeah. And then I made some contacts. I had wanted to go to school here. I've always had a fascination to go to Columbia University, but they weren't taking people with my color in certain professions, certain disciplines.
Did they tell you right to your face?
Oh yes, there was no doubt. You had applications with a form, and you had to put your picture. And then they had many kinds. You had colored, Negro, and foreign. So you got to come from Africa and get into to study where you couldn't get it as a Negro or a colored. And they had different classes. If you were foreign black, you want a Negro or you want a colored. They had all kind of stupid classifications. And so, and then there was time foreign black, Negro, colored. You just couldn't get in, period, because that discipline, they didn't take black people or African people to study in that area.
What was this discipline you were trying to get into at Columbia?
Anthropology.
Anthropology.
Yes, yes.
How did you become interested in that?
Well, for a number of reasons. The African movement for independence was going on, even though there was a war.
In Harlem, it was very active.
In Harlem, in the Caribbean, some people in the Caribbean, and naturally in Europe and so forth. The Nnamdi Azikiwe's from Nigeria, the Kwame Nkrumahs, and the Nyomboro, Awolowo. These are names that may not be familiar to some of the young fellows who follow African nationalism, but those were the big names at the time.
Well, I wanted to ask you, what was Harlem like when you arrived in those days?
Harlem was something. Harlem was Harlem. Today, Harlem is a shadow of itself. When I came on a Saturday afternoon, or a Saturday, 100 Lenox Avenue from 110th Street up to the river, I would say from 5 o'clock in the afternoon, about 90% of the people on the street. People sitting on the stoop because there were no air condition. And
when you say up to the river, you mean at 155th?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Harlem in that time, if you heard a person snatch a purse, people would speak for that about 2 weeks. People would be speaking about that. It was so rare. Harlem at that time, drug was maybe 1 or 2 musicians, maybe. It wasn't even a musician, it wasn't common. Sunday afternoon in Harlem, from And 7th Avenue down was Easter. Every Sunday was Easter.
You mean everybody had
Everybody dressed in their best. 8th Avenue, up 8th Avenue, Duke Ellington's Take the A Train was true. When you get up 145th Street, you get to the more influential, the better dressed, the better eaten with the pork and beans, of course, the cans and the thing. You had the Madam Walkers, you had the Madam Sinclairs, the Renaissance still going on, the Mama Lou's and Jenny and the Frasers for the restaurant. It was a time when still the Packards, the big time car was the Packard and Lafayette, where people all over the world came to Harlem to eat. You did not eat. I don't care about the war or nothing else. What was the name you called? You didn't eat unless you came to Harlem to eat.